Have you ever found yourself in one of those moments when it seems like life suddenly decided to test all your limits, hitting the maximum difficulty button? Those days, weeks, or even months and years when things that used to work with a certain flow that you considered safe and predictable now inexplicably jam up, creating a sensation of quicksand beneath your feet, of instability and uncertainty. Maybe relationships that seemed stable and secure, built on solid foundations, unexpectedly become turbulent, full of friction, misunderstandings and frustrations that seem to come out of nowhere, putting the strongest bonds to the test. Or finances tighten in a way you didn't anticipate, generating an overwhelming wave of worry, insecurity, and anxiety about the future. Old fears and insecurities, ghosts from the past that you swore you had overcome and left behind long ago, resurface with overwhelming force, making you question your own progress, your sanity, and even your worth as a human being. It seems like the entire universe, in its vast and mysterious wisdom, conspires to test your resilience, your faith, your patience, your unwavering determination, and the very essence of your being. You look around at the apparent chaos that has settled into your life and you ask yourself with a pang of desperation, exhaustion, and a sense of disillusionment, why now? Why, at this exact moment when I feel like I'm so close to a meaningful goal? Why is it getting so hard, when I've been trying so hard, when I've invested so much energy, when I've done the deepest and most painful inner work of my life, when I've sought to align myself with my highest purpose? It's a universally frustrating and deeply disorienting experience, one that often brings us to the brink of giving up, to the temptation of throwing in the towel. The logical mind, conditioned to seek ease and comfort, to avoid pain in the unknown, whispers convincing and seductive arguments to us. If something is meant to be, it should flow effortlessly, like running water. If it's so complicated, if the resistance is so great, maybe it's not for me. Maybe I'm not capable, not worthy. Maybe I should give up and accept a smaller, safer, less ambitious, less painful reality. This voice can be insidious, persistent, and convincing, eroding our confidence, undermining our determination, draining our hope, and pushing us back toward the familiarity of the past, toward the supposed safety of a comfort zone that has actually become a prison. But what if I told you that this feeling that everything is falling apart, this apparent chaos, this unbearable pressure, this intensity that seems to want to annihilate you or make you regress, is not a sign that you're on the wrong path, nor proof that the universe is against you, conspiring for your failure? What if I told you that it is, in fact, one of the most promising and unmistakable signs that you are incredibly close, on the verge, on the threshold of a significant breakthrough, of a quantum leap in your life journey, of a transition to a higher level of consciousness and experience? That the densest darkness, the most intense pressure, the most uncomfortable mess, are often the prelude, the preparation, the transformation laboratory for a more glorious dawn, for a new chapter full of light, clarity, abundance, and fulfillment. This difficulty you feel is not an impediment, but rather irrefutable proof, a seal of authenticity that you are about to break through, to transmute yourself to a new level of being, of success, of consciousness, and of purpose. Our intuition, often shaped by simplistic and linear narratives of progress, tells us that growth is always upward, a constant climb without setbacks. But the truth is that real growth, genuine expansion, whether of a plant, a person, a consciousness, or an idea, is a dynamic, organic, and powerful process, full of contractions and expansions, of purges and rebirths, of deconstruction and reconstruction. It's like the tide which recedes before advancing with full force. In the next moments, we're going to dive into the essence of this paradox, demystifying difficulty and revealing its hidden purpose. We're going to explore why this intensity arises, what it really means in your evolutionary journey, and, most importantly, how you can not only survive these moments, but embrace them, transmute them, and use them as an indispensable prelude to your next grand breakthrough. Prepare yourself to redefine your understanding of difficulty, pain, and their purpose in your trajectory. To deeply understand why things get so difficult right before your breakthrough, we need to go beyond the surface of frustration and dive into the invisible mechanics of transformation, into the universal laws that govern the universe at its deepest levels, both macro and micro. Think about nature in its most fundamental cycle, and you'll find recurring patterns that perfectly mirror your own evolutionary journey. Seeds, for example, before sprouting and becoming leafy trees, or vibrant flowers that reach for the sun, need to go through a period of deep darkness, submerged in damp, cold earth. They face the pressure of the soil, the moisture, the cold, and it's this exact combination of darkness, pressure, and discomfort that causes their hard shells to crack, allowing new life, fragile and tenacious, to stretch and rise toward the light. The harsh winter, with its long nights, desolate landscapes, and freezing temperatures, seems like the end of everything, the death of life. But it's a period of withdrawal, of apparent death, of necessary quietude, which is an indispensable prelude to the vibrant explosion of life, color, and energy of spring. The butterfly, that creature of beauty, grace, and winged freedom, doesn't emerge from its larval form without the struggle that occurs inside the cocoon. It's a process that, if observed, seems agonizing and violent for the larva that dissolves, that becomes a cellular soup. But it's vital, absolutely essential, to strengthen its wings, to pump the vital fluid that will make them capable of flight, to prepare for its glorious metamorphosis. Water, to boil and transform into steam, reaching a new state of energy, expansion, and lightness, must first reach its maximum point of heat and agitation. It's at this peak of intensity, in this boiling, that transmutation occurs and release to a higher state. In each of these natural examples, the intensity, the pressure, the apparent difficulty, and chaos are not random obstacles or signs of failure, but essential and intrinsic elements of the process of changing state, of a passage to a new form of being, of an evolution to a higher level of existence. They are proof that life is operating at a deep level of wisdom, preparing the ground for your flourishing. The same principle, this cosmic dance of contraction and expansion, of death and rebirth, of deconstruction and ascension, operates in your life and in your journey of personal and spiritual growth. These moments of intense difficulty that precede a breakthrough are not a universal punishment imposed by a divine entity, nor a random test imposed by a capricious external force that wants to see you suffer. They are, in fact, a manifestation of universal laws in action, a process inherent to the expansion and evolution of your consciousness, an invitation for you to become your highest version. One of the main reasons for this intensification of difficulty is what we can call an energetic and mental purge, or a deep vibrational recalibration. Think of yourself as a precious vessel with a unique form and purpose that is being prepared to receive something new and greater. For this vessel to be filled with a new and higher reality, your breakthrough, your manifested desire, your new version of yourself, it must first be completely emptied, cleaned, and purified of everything that no longer serves, of everything that is dense and obsolete. Imagine your being as a hard drive full of old programs and files, some of them corrupted, outdated, or even containing viruses. To install state-of-the-art software and make room for new functionalities, you need to do a deep cleaning, uninstall what doesn't serve and clean the system. Old thought patterns that limit you, like the constant self-criticism that paralyzes you, the victim mentality that prevents you from acting, the belief in scarcity that keeps you imprisoned, or the idea that you are not worthy of love, success, or joy. are like old programs that need to be consciously deleted. Ingrained beliefs that whisper, "You're not capable," "You don't have luck," "You'll never succeed," or "You're not good enough," need to be unmasked, brought to the light of consciousness and released. Unconscious fears that paralyze you, like fear of failure, fear of success, yes, fear of success, fear of rejection, fear of being seen in your fullness, or fear of being judged, need to come to light to be confronted and transmuted. Held resentments that weigh on your soul like anchors, unhealed pains that you carry like invisible burdens, unbalanced relationships that drain your vital energy, toxic habits that tie you to the past and to a smaller and more limited version of yourself. All of this are low-frequency energies, obsolete patterns that occupy valuable space in your energetic field and prevent the flow of the new, the expansive, the aligned. When you are on the verge of a significant breakthrough, your own soul, the innate intelligence of the universe, or the very energy of expansion, begins to bring these old energies to the surface. This happens not to punish or cause unnecessary suffering, but so that you can see them clearly, without veils, confront them head-on with courage and compassion, and finally, release them consciously. This purge can manifest in varied and uncomfortable ways. Unexpected conflicts in areas you thought were resolved long ago, revealing underlying issues that cry out for attention. Sudden losses of a job, of a relationship, of security, that force you to reevaluate your priorities, to detach from what is no longer essential and to find strength in your own essence. Or the reappearance of past traumas, old wounds you thought you had overcome, demanding deeper healing and complete integration. These cleanings can be chaotic and painful because we are being forced to unearth, process, and transmute what was previously buried, avoided, or conveniently ignored. It's like a house that needs to be completely emptied, have its basements and attics turned over and cleaned, its foundations inspected before being renovated and furnished with new, vibrant, and beautiful pieces that reflect your new taste, your new energy, and your new phase of life. The process of emptying, of removing debris, of dealing with dust and with things being thrown out can be a temporary mess, exhausting and disorienting. But it's an absolutely necessary step, an indispensable prerequisite to create the sacred space, the energetic vacuum for the new, for the more aligned, and for the grand that is waiting to enter. Another crucial aspect of this phase is the test of your determination and unwavering faith. Think of the maximum tension in a bow before the arrow is shot at great speed toward the target, or of a rubber band being stretched to its maximum limit before being released to propel you forward with great force and momentum. This intense pressure and this difficulty are not created to make you fail, but to test the solidity of your foundation. It's a final check of your resilience, of your unconditional commitment to your highest desire and to your own evolution. The universe, or your own soul, that wiser and more divine part of you, is asking with deep and loving wisdom, do you really want this? Are you willing to maintain your vision, your faith, your integrity, and your alignment even when things become unbearably difficult, even when external evidence seems to contradict your internal truth? Will you prove to yourself and to life that you are truly ready for the next level of responsibility, of abundance, of peace, of joy, and of personal power that awaits you? If you are one of the people who will prove to this existence that you are ready for this change, type here in the comments, "I'm ready." Being ready is knowing that inevitably moments of difficulty will arise. They function as a filter, a cosmic sieve. They separate, implacably but fairly, those who are truly committed and aligned with their purpose and their future self, from those who seek only the easiest path, the effortless shortcut, instant gratification. They are not made to punish you, but to forge and strengthen your muscles of faith, patience, perseverance, self-confidence, and discernment. They prepare you to sustain the new reality that is to come, to be the worthy receptacle of your own manifestations, and to be the conscious architect of your life. Because a great breakthrough is not just an external change of circumstances. It is, fundamentally, an internal change, a profound expansion of your capacity to receive, to give, to create, and to be. And this elevated capacity, this new version of you, is forged in the flames of adversity, in the crucible of transformation. It's in the crucible of difficulty that the true gold of your being is revealed and polished. It's there that you discover your own inner invincibility. Furthermore, the intensity that precedes a breakthrough can be the result of vibrational dissonance. You are raising your frequency to align with the reality of your future self, which operates at a higher, more harmonious, freer, and more expansive vibration. Your current environment, your present circumstances, the energy patterns you are accustomed to, and even some of the people around you, may be operating at a lower, older frequency that no longer resonates with your new tuning. This frequency difference creates friction, an inherent discomfort. It's like trying to fit a round and radiant puzzle piece into a square and tight hole. Something has to give. Something has to be released, remodeled, or transmuted for the new form to fit. The energy of the old, of the familiar, of what no longer serves, naturally resists the energy of the new, of the expansive, of the aligned, because the old has inertia, a force of permanence. This can manifest as relationships dissolving or becoming unsustainable, because the vibrations no longer match. Jobs that become unbearable, as your soul yearns for more alignment. Or situations that become intolerable, forcing you to move, to make a courageous decision, to free yourself from invisible bonds. This resistance, or friction, is not a personal attack or a sign that you are making a mistake. It's the universe readjusting your orbit, clearing the path, unblocking the passage so you can move freely and without impediments in your new frequency, in your new level of existence. It's life, in its innate wisdom, realigning everything to support your next and grand phase of ascension. Therefore, this phase of intense difficulty is not, and never was, a sign to stop or give up on your dreams, on your deepest aspirations. It's a sign to persist with even more strength and conviction, to trust deeply in the greater process of life, and to understand that you are on the threshold of something grand, an awakening, a manifestation that is lurking, waiting for your total permission to reveal itself. It's the necessary purge before rebirth, the trial by fire that forges the soul and prepares it for a new level of power and purpose, and the inevitable friction when a new high-frequency reality is about to manifest fully in your life. It's the final push, the last impulse that takes you out of the comfort zone and propels you toward your greater destiny. How, then, does this phase of intense difficulty manifest in your daily life? It's not just a matter of visible external problems, easily identifiable and resolved. It's a multifaceted experience that hits you at all levels of your being, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual, testing your integrity, your coherence, and your deepest commitment to your own growth and evolution. Internally, you may find yourself in an epic battle with your own mind, a war waged in the most intimate corners of your psyche. Doubt, which was once a mere occasional whisper, a passing breeze, can become a monster roaring in your ears, incessantly repeating that you are a fool for having believed in yourself and your dreams, that your aspirations are a childish and unattainable fantasy, that you don't have what it takes, that you should simply return to your comfort zone and accept a smaller, safer, less ambitious life. Old fears that you swore you had conquered and overcome long ago. Fear of failure, fear of success. Yes, fear of success, which is often fear of responsibility, of judgment, or of losing the familiar. fear of rejection, fear of being seen in your fullness, fear of not being good enough, fear of not belonging, resurface with disturbing clarity and intensity, like ghosts from the past coming to haunt and challenge you, demanding your attention. Anxiety can be oppressive, a constant sensation of restlessness, apprehension, and nervous energy that accompanies you everywhere. This often comes accompanied by profound and inexplicable exhaustion, a tiredness that doesn't resolve with sleep, even if you're not physically overloaded. There may be persistent mental fog, an inability to think clearly, difficulty concentrating on simple tasks, a memory that seems to fail at crucial moments, or an overwhelming sensation of disconnection from yourself, from your purpose, and from life itself, as if you were floating aimlessly. You may feel lost, groundless, not knowing where to go, without an internal compass. These are the last defenses of your old self, of the ego that clings to the known and resists change, desperately fighting to maintain the status quo, fearing the unknown and the vast power of your own glorious expansion. At the physical level, the body, which is a receptacle of energy, a mirror of the soul and a wise processor, can also react to this internal and energetic turbulence. You may feel more tired than normal, experiencing chronic fatigue that persists, pains and discomforts that seem to come out of nowhere, without apparent medical explanation, like tension headaches, digestive problems, sleep disturbances, chronic muscle tension, or even facing minor illnesses, persistent colds, exacerbated allergies, or indispositions that leave you without energy and vitality. The body is working intensely to process the release of old energetic patterns, to detoxify itself at the cellular level, and this process of detoxification and recalibration can be physically draining and uncomfortable. It's your system readjusting, cleaning itself, preparing for the new and higher frequency you are inviting to inhabit. It's a clear sign that energy is changing profoundly and that your body is adapting to this transformation. Externally, life seems to become an endless series of obstacles, inconveniences, negative twists and challenges that test your patience, your resilience, and your faith to the limit. Intimate relationships, which were once sources of support, affection, and security, can be put to the test in painful ways, revealing unresolved dynamics, old hurts, or deep imbalances that demand your immediate and honest attention. Old friendships may suddenly dissipate or become tense, while people you considered pillars of support and an integral part of your life seem to drift away, creating a feeling of isolation and loneliness. At work, projects may fail inexplicably, despite all your effort. Heated disagreements with colleagues or superiors will arise, or you may feel more undervalued, underestimated, and frustrated than ever in your position, questioning your vocation and your professional purpose. Financially, unexpected and overwhelming expenses may appear. A high medical bill, an urgent repair to the house or car, or sources of income you considered secure may temporarily dry up, generating a sensation of scarcity and panic that seems to contradict all your visualizations, affirmations, and efforts toward abundance. Objects may break for no apparent reason. Appliances may break down. Technologies may fail at the worst possible moment, and carefully crafted plans may be canceled at the last minute, generating frustration and the sensation that the universe is playing with you. All of this creates an overwhelming sensation of chaos and disorder, that the ground is giving way beneath your feet, and that the universe is, in some inexplicable way, conspiring against you, challenging every step. It's as if the universe, in its infinite wisdom and its relentless perfection, were saying, "Look, everything that is not perfectly aligned with your next level of evolution, everything that doesn't vibrate at the same frequency as your future version, everything that prevents you from taking off, needs to be seen, confronted, and released now." This external disorder, however uncomfortable, frustrating, and painful it may be, is a direct reflection of the purge and internal recalibration that is happening within you. It forces you to deal with what needs to be addressed, to detach from what no longer serves, and to realign with your deepest and most authentic truth. These are the moments when the temptation to give up is strongest. The voice of your comfort zone screams loudest and most seductively, promising immediate relief and a return to the supposed safety of the familiar. If you just retreat, abandon your dreams, and accept a smaller, less challenging life. You may feel incredibly isolated, misunderstood by those around you, or question whether you are really on the right path, whether all this effort and suffering are worth it. But it's precisely here, in the eye of this storm, at the darkest point before dawn, at the peak of the boiling process, that lies the most potent opportunity for growth, for transformation. It's the last test before ascension. It's the final trial by fire that separates your superficial desire from a mere whim, from your deepest commitment, from your soul's mission. It's the last and most dramatic attempt of the old reality, of your old and familiar self, to keep you captive. Understanding this process, while it doesn't make it less painful in the moment of experience, makes it meaningful. You are not unlucky. You are a warrior of light, a pioneer of new realities, in the middle of the final battle before your great victory and manifestation. Suffering in this context becomes growing pains, labor pains for something new and grand, not pain of punishment or failure. It's the discomfort of expansion, of evolution, not of contraction, of regression. And with this understanding comes the innate power to navigate these moments with purpose, with clear intention, instead of blind and meaningless despair. You become an alchemist of your own life, transforming lead into gold, chaos into opportunity, darkness into light, not by magic, but by mastery and understanding of the universal laws that govern creation and evolution. It's essential to understand that this difficulty you face before a great breakthrough is intrinsically linked to a profound transformation of identity. You are not just manifesting a new job, a new relationship, or more money. You are becoming a new version of yourself. The breakthrough you seek is not something that happens to you, but something that happens through you, and because you have become the person capable of receiving and sustaining it. Think of the metaphor of the snake shedding its skin. The old skin, which once served the purpose of protecting and containing growth, now becomes an impediment, tightening and suffocating the new body forming underneath. The process of releasing this old skin is uncomfortable, often painful, and the snake rubs against rough surfaces to accelerate the process. Similarly, your old identity, your limiting beliefs about who you are and what you are capable of doing, your old behavioral patterns, are the skin that needs to be shed. Difficulty arises because the old identity doesn't want to die. It resists, screams, manifests through fear and doubt because the death of the old self is a threat to its own existence. It's a process of ego death, a dismantling of the internal structures you built throughout life and that somehow kept you safe, even if they limited your true expression. You find yourself in a liminal space, a between worlds. You are no longer the person you used to be. The old skin is cracking and falling off. But you are not yet fully the person you are becoming. This is a space of great uncertainty, vulnerability, and at times, loneliness. What once gave you security and a sense of belonging, certain friends, certain environments, certain routines, may no longer resonate, causing a sensation of uprooting. What is to come is not yet clear, and the old no longer serves. It's a temporary purgatory where your soul is refined. External pressure and internal confusion are the catalyst for this new identity to solidify. It's the universe demanding that you become what you must be, and for that, you need to let go of what you were. Only in this vacuum, in this surrender of the familiar, can the new and authentic you emerge. It's a profound redefinition of your sense of being, and this redefinition is the true essence of the difficulty that precedes the breakthrough. Knowing why things get difficult right before your breakthrough is the first step to transmuting chaos into fuel for your journey. It's like having a map and a flashlight in the midst of the densest darkness, a guide to navigate the unknown. But what to do in practice when you are in the middle of this storm, when the pressure is almost unbearable, and the temptation to give up is overwhelming, when the voice of doubt in your mind seems to scream louder than any other? How to navigate these turbulent waters without shipwrecking, without getting lost, without self-sabotaging, and more importantly, how to emerge transformed and victorious. Here are essential strategies, a true toolkit for your soul, to not only survive these crucial moments, but to flourish through them, emerging stronger, wiser, and more aligned than ever. First, and most important, practice recognition and radical acceptance. When difficulty arises in your life, instead of lamenting, blaming yourself, or resisting with all your strength and energy, pause. Breathe deeply, profoundly, and consciously, allowing each inhalation to bring clarity and each exhalation to release tension. And allow yourself to feel what needs to be felt: the burning frustration, the righteous anger, the overwhelming sadness, the paralyzing fear. Honor these emotions. They are not your enemies, but vital messengers that point to where your attention is needed. Then, anchor yourself in the truth we are exploring, which resonates with the wisdom of nature. Say to yourself, out loud if possible, or in your heart, with conviction and clarity, here it is. This is the moment. I understand what is happening. This difficulty is not a sign to give up. It's an unmistakable sign that I am on the threshold, about to break through to something grand. Accepting that this phase is a necessary, intrinsic, and even welcome part of the growth process removes the crushing burden of mistake, failure, or punishment from the experience. It becomes a rite of passage, a vital stage for transformation and not a dead end. Surrender to the process not with resignation but with deep trust in the intelligence of life is an act of liberation in itself. Next, prioritize radical and guilt-free self-care. In these moments of purging, recalibration, and testing, your energy is drained to deep and unexpected levels. Your body, your mind, and your soul are working overtime to process what needs to be released, to integrate the new, and to build the new identity. This means you need much more rest and nourishment than normal. Sleep enough, allowing your body to heal and your subconscious mind to process and organize information. If possible, take restorative naps during the day. Nourish yourself nutritiously, consciously, with whole and living foods that energize and heal, and avoid those that weigh down your body and energy, like processed foods, excess sugar, caffeine, or alcohol. Hydrate abundantly with pure water. Spend time in nature, even if just for a few minutes in a nearby park, in your garden, or simply looking at the sky and clouds. The earth, plants, water, animals have an inherent power to ground, center, realign your energy, and restore your perspective. Minimize distractions and unnecessary sources of stress. Limit time on social media, avoid negative and sensationalist news, and decrease consumption of information that doesn't contribute to your well-being or growth. Say no to invitations or commitments that don't nourish you, or that overload you even more, even if this may seem difficult at the moment. This is not selfishness. It's wisdom. It's a survival strategy of empowerment and of sustainability of your vital energy. Remember, you cannot fight a decisive battle, nor build a grand future with an empty energy tank. Cultivate unwavering faith and deep gratitude even, and especially when everything seems to go wrong, when logic screams the opposite, when external evidence points to disaster. Gratitude is one of the highest frequencies you can emit, and it's a powerful antidote to fear, doubt, despair, and victimization. It shifts your perspective from what's lacking to what's already abundant, from what's wrong to what's right. Even when chaos settles in and you feel like the world is crumbling around you, find something, anything, however small, to be grateful for. Be grateful for the gentle breeze that touches your face, for the sun that shines, for the food on your plate, for the simple ability to breathe. Be grateful for the lesson that difficulty is bringing, for the growth opportunity it represents, for your own inherent resilience that brought you this far. Thank in advance for the breakthrough that is to come, as if it were already a tangible reality in your life, feeling the emotion of this achievement in your present. Faith is not the absence of doubt, but the ability to act despite it, to maintain your clear vision amid the fog and deafening noise of the external and internal world. Reaffirm your intentions, visualize your future self and your realized desires with even more strength, more emotion, and more conviction, even if external reality doesn't reflect them at the moment. Constantly remember your deepest why, your fundamental reason, your soul's mission. Why did you start this journey? What are you seeking with this expansion? Anchor yourself firmly in this greater purpose. It will be your compass in the midst of the storm and your guiding star in the darkness. It's vital to release control and detach from the how. In these moments of intense transition, when life seems to turn upside down and everything you planned seems to crumble, the universe, in its infinite wisdom and perfect orchestration, may be rearranging the pieces of your puzzle in ways that your logical and limited mind cannot understand or anticipate. Trust that there exists a greater intelligence, a cosmic wisdom that transcends your immediate understanding, orchestrating the details perfectly for your greater good and for the good of all involved. Release the obsessive need to know exactly how your breakthrough will manifest, how problems will be resolved, or what the next step you should take will be. Your job is to maintain a clear vision of the what, your desire and purpose, and the why, the feeling and deeper meaning behind it. The universe will take care of the how, and frequently, in a much more grandiose, efficient, and aligned way than you could have imagined or planned. Excessive attachments, attempts at rigid control, and attachments to specific outcomes only create more resistance, more frustration, and more pain, because you are fighting against the natural flow of life. Practice active surrender, which is not resigned passivity or surrender to blind fate, but rather full and unwavering trust that the process will unfold organically, divinely, and perfectly. Imagine yourself releasing a balloon with your desires and trusting that it will float to the right destination, carried by the invisible currents of divine grace. Maintain inspired action, even if you are feeling exhausted, discouraged, or overwhelmed. Even if energy seems minimal and your motivation is low, continue taking small steps forward. It doesn't need to be a giant leap or a Herculean effort that exhausts you even more. Sometimes, inspired action is just meditating for 5 minutes, reading a paragraph from a book that deeply inspires you, listening to music that elevates your soul, writing a few lines in your journal, or taking a brief walk outdoors, feeling the air on your face. What's important is momentum, maintaining energetic flow. Inertia can be an invitation to despair and stagnation, a vicious cycle of non-action. Staying in motion, even if slowly, sends a clear signal to the universe that you are committed, that you are walking toward your breakthrough, and that you are ready to receive. Listen to your intuition. It may whisper the next step, however small, and that step, seemingly insignificant, may be the catalyst for the next phase. Often, the universe doesn't reveal the entire path, just the next step. Trust it, and the next one will be revealed. seek and accept support without hesitation. Don't try to go through this phase of intense transformation alone. Loneliness can amplify doubt and despair, making the voice of ego and fear become deafening, distorting your perception of reality. Talk with trusted friends who understand your journey and support you unconditionally, those who see your greatness and your potential even when you can't. Seek a mentor, a therapist, a coach, a spiritual counselor, or join a community of people who share a growth and expansion mindset. Sharing your struggles relieves emotional weight, offers valuable perspectives you may not be able to see when you're immersed in chaos, and allows you to feel understood and less isolated. Receiving support is an act of strength, of wisdom, and of humility, not of weakness. It's a recognition that we are all interconnected and that help is available for those who ask with an open heart. Finally, redefine failure and success. In these difficult moments, what seems to be a failure or a setback is not the end of the line, nor proof that you are not capable or worthy. It is instead a temporary detour that contains vital information, precious lessons, and necessary course corrections. Each mistake is a disguised learning opportunity, valuable feedback. Each obstacle is a chance to strengthen your character, your resilience, and your wisdom. True success is not the absence of problems, but your ability to navigate through them with grace, with learning, and with integrity. It's your ability to get up after each fall, stronger and wiser than before, with a deeper understanding of yourself and life, a crown of resilience. By internalizing and applying these strategies, you not only survive the most challenging phase of your journey, but transform it into a powerful springboard for your breakthrough. You don't just resist adversity, you grow exponentially through it, emerging stronger, wiser, more aligned, and more prepared than ever for the grand reality that awaits you. And then, the moment arrives, the long-awaited turning point, the glorious reward for your persistence, your faith, and your courage. After the intensive purge that cleansed your being, the trial by fire that forged your spirit, the deep internal recalibration that realigned you, and the conscious integration of all lessons learned in difficulty, the universe, in its perfect synchronicity and infinite intelligence, recalibrates in response to your new frequency. You maintained your unwavering faith, persisted in your alignment practices, cared for yourself radically, and trusted fully in life's greater process. And suddenly, almost without warning, the energy around you, and more notably within you, changes drastically, like a switch that turns on. It's as if a dense and heavy fog completely dissipated, revealing a new horizon, vast and full of promises. Things begin to flow again, but not as before. Now they manifest in a new way, lighter, more potent, more aligned with your expanded version, with your future self, with your highest purpose. This is the unmistakable sensation of a breakthrough, of an opening, of a quantum leap. Often, it's not an explosive and thunderous event, a flash of light that changes everything at once. It's not always a rocket launched with great fanfare and noise. It is, more commonly, a series of perfect synchronicities and openings that unfold with surprising ease and unexpected, almost magical fluidity. A door that was previously stubbornly closed, that seemed locked tight and impassable, suddenly opens smoothly, effortlessly, revealing a new path, a new opportunity that was there all along. An opportunity you ardently awaited appears in your inbox, in a casual conversation, in a moment of inspiration, or, even better, something even more grandiose, more aligned with your purpose and more expansive emerges from a completely unexpected place, surpassing your boldest expectations and most meticulous plans. Those people who drifted away during the purge phase, who became misaligned with your frequency and your new identity, may be naturally replaced by new connections that resonate more deeply and truly with who you have become, with your new vibration, bringing joy, authentic support, and a renewed sense of belonging. The mental clarity you so sought, and that seemed lost in the fog of difficulty and chaos, returns, sharper, more focused, and more inspiring than before, allowing you to see solutions and paths that were previously hidden from your view. Finances, which previously tightened and generated anxiety, find a new and unexpected source of flow and abundance, often coming from directions you never considered, proving the unlimited nature of provision. Health, which seemed debilitated or stagnant, restores itself with renewed vitality, vigor, lightness, and energy that you may have never felt before, allowing you to live fully and enjoy every moment. What is most remarkable and gratifying about this breakthrough is the predominant sensation of lightness, fluidity, and ease that accompanies it. The arduous struggle, the exhaustive resistance, and the weight of difficulty you felt give way to a natural flow, a sensation of being propelled by an invisible and powerful current, as if you were surfing a perfect wave. It's as if you were desperately paddling against a powerful and exhausting current for a long and strenuous time, and suddenly, the current changes direction and begins to powerfully propel you forward, effortlessly instead of resisting. Solutions to problems that previously seemed insurmountable, complex, and unsolvable emerge with disarming simplicity, as if they had always been there, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. Intuition becomes stronger, clearer, and more reliable, guiding you with an innate wisdom that transcends linear logic and fear. You feel renewed confidence in yourself and in life, not arrogant or illusory confidence, but an unshakable certainty rooted in your own tested resilience and the omniscient power of the universe. You feel at home in your own being and in your place in the world, with a sense of purpose and belonging that was previously just a distant desire. And the intrinsic beauty of all this is that the breakthrough, this new expanded reality, this manifestation of your deepest desires, is much more significant, profound, and lasting precisely because of the difficulty that preceded it. You didn't just get what you wanted to manifest. You became the person capable of sustaining and enjoying that desire. Your ability to deal with challenges, your emotional and spiritual resilience, your clarity of purpose, was expanded in ways you never imagined, shaped by adversity and the fire of transformation. Your faith was tested in the depths of darkness and strengthened to the point of becoming unshakable, a luminous beacon in any future storm. You now know your own inner strength, your own light, your own capacity for overcoming in a way you never knew before, and this wisdom is invaluable, a treasure that no external circumstance can take from you. That old version of you, who would have given up at the first difficulty or slightest resistance, was transmuted, dissolved by the fire of transformation, reborn as something new and more powerful. You are now a wiser, more resilient, more compassionate version of yourself with yourself and others, and infinitely more powerful, ready to embrace the next phase of your journey. These moments of breakthrough are irrefutable proof that life doesn't happen to you, in the sense of being imposed from outside and without your control, but for you and through you. Difficulty was not an impediment or a final obstacle, but a divine catalyst, a polishing tool, a gift in disguise. It didn't come to prevent you from achieving your dreams, but to prepare you, to polish your soul, to expand your consciousness and your capacity to receive the blessings that were waiting for you at the next level of your journey. It was your chrysalis, your furnace, your winter, your moment of fertile darkness, the rich soil where the seeds of your greatness could finally germinate, flourish, and bear abundant fruit. We have reached the end of our journey of understanding about the difficulty that precedes breakthrough. I hope this deep and transformative perspective has resonated in your heart and mind, and that from now on you can look at the challenges in your life with new eyes, no longer as insurmountable obstacles that want to stop you, but as portals, as invitations, as catalysts for your next great phase of growth, expansion, and fulfillment. Your life is a continuous journey of evolution, an infinite dance between the known and the unknown, between contraction and expansion. There will be moments of flow and ease, of joy and celebration that will nourish you and make you feel like you're on top of the world, in perfect harmony with the universe. But there will also be, inevitably, moments of intense pressure, of deconstruction, of uncertainty, and apparent chaos. Remember, these moments are not failures in your system, nor errors in your course. They are not signs that you are making mistakes or that you are unworthy of your dreams. They are, in fact, the clearest signs, the loudest whispers, the universe's shouts, that you are on the threshold of a quantum leap, of a profound transformation. They are not signs to give up, but to persist with unwavering faith, with clear purpose and with deep understanding. You have within you the innate resilience, the ancestral wisdom, and the inexhaustible strength to navigate any storm, to transmute any difficulty into gold. You are not alone on this journey. The universe is always working in your favor, orchestrating every detail, every event, every encounter for your highest good and your greatest evolution. Difficulty is a powerful tool, a catalyst for transformation, a disguised master, not a final destination. It's the most compelling proof that you are growing, that you are expanding, that you are becoming the highest, most authentic, and most powerful version of yourself. So, the next time things seem to crumble around you, when the pressure is almost unbearable and the temptation to withdraw, to give up, to return to the familiar is stronger than ever, instead of despair, allow a new understanding to anchor in your heart. Allow a flame of unwavering faith to ignite within you, illuminating the path. Say to yourself, with conviction and clarity, in a whisper or in a war cry that resonates your soul, "Ah, here it is. This is the sign. I am on the threshold of my breakthrough. This is why things are so difficult now. And I am ready. I trust the process. I trust myself. I trust life." Trust the process. Trust your own innate capacity to transcend, to adapt, to evolve. And celebrate each challenge, for it is the last stage, the last furnace, the last phase of the cocoon, before the grand revelation of your next level of success, peace, joy, and fulfillment. Your breakthrough is on its way. Keep the faith.